Hi, if you're new here, welcome to my channel. My name is Sarah and I am an applicant for the 2021 Formula Woman Racing Series. If you're not new here and you've watched my previous videos, I don't think it's stretching things to say that I'm absolutely over the moon that you've come back for more. So let's get into this video. We all know the kinds of things that Formula One drivers get up to during a race weekend, but have you ever wondered what kind of hobbies and interests they have off the track? Well, you're in luck, because in this video I'm going to be looking at what the drivers from the 2021 F1 grid do in their spare time between races and during the off-season. It's not surprising to see that a Google search on this topic yields no less than 1.3 million results. People are really interested in F1 drivers and what they get up to. Instagram is often the best place to find out more about sports stars, and F1 drivers are no exception. For the most part, modern drivers share a decent amount of their personal lives on their social media. This hasn't always been the case though. Even in the not so distant past of the early 2000s, drivers were much more closed off, and the only time we would really see them speak at length was during press days, media interviews, or maybe we could catch them on an episode of Top Gear. Those of us who are fans in the modern era are definitely very lucky to have the level of access that we do to the drivers today. Looking at this year's grid lineup, their spare time activities fall into roughly 3 buckets. Number 1, those who stick with car-related activities. Number 2, those who remain active but in ways that are not related to F1. And 3, those who just want to completely chill out. If it were me driving around 23 racetracks, flying across the globe, pulling up to 8 Gs and regularly travelling at speeds of over 350 kilometers per hour, I reckon I'd be falling into that third category for sure. It may not surprise you that some of the dads of the grid are the most likely to spend their days between races chilling out at home, namely Seb Vettel and Kimi Raikkonen, and also Checo Perez, who said he loves nothing more than spending quality time with his loved ones as much as he possibly can. Valtteri Bottas may not be a dad, but his preference is for a chilled out approach too, and he has also said that he loves a good Finnish sauna when he's away from the track. As for the folks in that second bucket, there has long been a dispute between two prevailing opinions in the F1 world about what drivers do with their spare time. I.e., the teams believed that the drivers should compete in a race weekend, then get straight back to the factory for more simulator work and studying up for the next race, maybe spend some time with family and friends when they were done. As much as being an F1 driver for a job is a dream for many, that kind of lifestyle sounds like a bit of a drag, honestly. Lewis Hamilton has made absolutely gargantuan progress for current and F1 drivers in this area. His passion for both music and fashion in particular have led him and Mercedes to form a partnership of trust. He continues to bring them world championships, and they support his pursuit of his non-F1 related dreams. Perhaps Lewis's most well-known accomplishment in the fashion space to date is his partnership with Tommy Hilfiger, with whom he has now released a number of collections, and the brand also supplies the Mercedes team gear. Outside of this, he has released music with Christina Aguilera and has also amassed a hoard of pretty impressive music memorabilia, including a guitar which was gifted to him by none other than David Bowie, which he recently played on his Instagram page. Not only that, but Lewis recently revealed that he spent the past couple of years learning how to skydive. You know, when he just really wants to do something chill. Lewis isn't the only one who likes to keep his spare time pumped full of adrenaline though. Daniel Ricciardo is another member in that bucket of drivers who like to keep things active when they're not on the racetrack. He's got a well-known love of mountain biking and is a huge UFC fan. When he does really want to wind down, he's got his Blue Coast brewery to look after, as well as a range of Australian wines and even some farming to take care of. It's worth noting that 11 of the 22 drivers on this year's grid are just 25 or under, which makes it one of the youngest grids ever in F1. Perhaps none of the drivers embody their youthfulness quite as much as Lando Norris, who is only 21 years old. Just like many typical 21-year-olds, Lando loves gaming and spends as much of his downtime as possible streaming on Twitch, which has led him to form Team Quadrant along with 4 other gamers and influencers. Quadrant combines Lando's love for gaming, racing, content and apparel, and the team has already amassed nearly 250,000 YouTube subscribers. Some of the biggest golf buffs on the grid are Carlos Sainz and George Russell, and some drivers definitely have more skill than others. Sorry, Lando. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, as I did when I first spotted this trend, why on earth would people who love adrenaline sports want to play golf? Well, there's actually a pretty long list of reasons if you think about it long enough. Firstly, we all know that Formula One is fueled by money more than anything else, and golf is another sport that weighs heavily on the wallet. Typically, the biggest advantage of this is the level of privacy that comes with it. F1 drivers spend a lot of time in front of cameras and fans, so it's understandable that in their downtime, they might want to stay out of the spotlight. Many other sports stars, and particularly celebrities, are fans of golf for this very reason too, so the golf course makes for a solid networking opportunity. Not only that, but golf also involves a mix of concentration and quiet, wide open spaces, and sometimes even idyllic surroundings, which is a nice change from the confined, noisy, fleeting experience of driving around a racetrack. Last but not least, let's address the drivers who have total tunnel vision, even in their spare time. Namely, in this year's pack, the two biggest culprits for this are Max Verstappen and Lance Stroll. Max was recently asked what he does when he gets home from a race weekend. His answer? Get straight into the simulator. While I certainly admire the dedication, and clearly it's working for him based on his on-track performances, it might be nice for Max to find another hobby for when the buzz of constantly being in race mode becomes more difficult to sustain over time. If your dad is your boss, understandably you're going to feel pressure to perform, particularly if your dad is as intimidating as Lawrence Stroll. So I can see why Lance sits in this camp too. He has said in the past that his favourite thing to do when not in an F1 car is to drive some other form of race car. At least he also mentioned eating some junk food, so I guess he's got some sense of balance. Although I didn't get to deep dive into the hobbies and interests of each and every driver on this year's grid, hopefully this video gave you an idea of what this year's crop are into and how they like to have fun. I will also link some videos in the description bar that are a good watch if you want to explore this topic more. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.